Well, I wonder how 2 or even 10 tier Keir is going to wiggle his way out of this one. Let's begin. Now, of course, I'm sure we all remember a few years ago when the government basically locked us up because of a code, although admittedly at the time we didn't really know too much about it, did we? And perhaps at the first rumour there was even such a thing as a party going on, with government employees in Downing Street. From what I remember, Keir Starmer was one of the first ones to condemn it, despite, of course, having a beer and work meeting of his own. But unfortunately for Keir, something that's just, shall we say, leaked out, which surely goes to show his hypocrisy over the entire matter indeed. And I say that because according to this article it says that Sir Keir Starmer's top business advisor reportedly attended a lockdown party at number 10 Downing Street. Now, of course, Keir will probably say, oh, that's alright, he was doing a bit of spying for us. So he was actually working, but I'm guessing that's not actually the case. The accusation, it says, came days after the Prime Minister made reference to the controversial gathering that rocked Boris Johnson's government. And on Monday, Sir Keir, standing at the Rose Garden, remember, at number 10, used the incident as an excuse to shame the Tories. Well, I don't know if it's just me, but doesn't it seem a tiny bit nonsensical now that we've actually found out the shoe is also on the other foot, if you know what I mean. Especially if he's banging on saying his government is different or whatever it is, because let's face it, that doesn't seem to be the case at all, does it? However, it's claimed that one of Sir Keir's most senior political aides was at the now infamous cheese and wine party, and here he is. Chahanda, I hope I pronounced that right, was reportedly a guest at the number 10 party on the 15th of May 2020, and appears in the background of the controversial photograph, the article says, with Boris and Dominic Cummings that exposed the incident to a furious British public. So hang on a minute, the mere fact that he's actually Keir Starmer's advisor is surely, if anything, completely taken a pee. Presumably, if Keir Starmer had done any checks on this party, he would have realised who and who wasn't there, and therefore he surely would have known this guy was there, wouldn't he? Which begs the question, doesn't it? If Keir Starmer's as outraged as he says, why has he got this bloke as his advisor? Because surely going to a party, which remember was a bit illegal at the time, isn't exactly a good thing to advise anyone to do, And no doubt, of course, Keir Starmer more than likely said, if any of my MPs would have done such a thing, I would have thrown them out of the party and their feet would have not touched the floor. But then again, he's an advisor, not an MP, so is that suddenly different, Keir? I mean, is this another tier to your 2-tier Keir? In which case, are you now 3-tier Keir, 4-tier Keir? Or just a very unusual version of Jenga where you balance your policies on top of another until they all, of course, fall to the floor. And at the gathering on Monday, the PM said, that's why I wanted to invite you here today, to show you the decent, hard-working people who make up the backbone of this country belong here. This is a government for you, a garden, a building that was once used for lockdown parties. Remember the pictures just over there, which his mate was sitting in, remember? Of the wine and food, well, this garden and this building is now back in your service. So surely now you'd think, wouldn't you, that after finding this out, if he didn't already know, he might not be Keir Starmer's advisor for long. And if he is, that, if anything to me, just goes to show exactly how hypocritical he and maybe even the Labour Party can be, It even says here that, however, the stunt now appears to have backfired on Sir Keir, and he is being accused of rank hypocrisy and double standards after The Sun reported that Vuan Karandra, who Sir Keir hired last month to liaise with city bosses and businesses on behalf of the government, was in the lockdown bash. Well, what has he said about it then? Strangely, it says Downing Street declined to comment. Well, I wonder why. Maybe they're trying to think of an excuse of why that person was there or why Sir Keir hired him. However, the newspaper quotes sources who say that Mr. Chandra was attending a meeting with civil service officials in the garden that evening, which, if you think about it, if they're saying this was a party at all, does that party suddenly turn into a meeting? In which case, in their eyes, if anything, that is no longer a party. But yet, of course, they won't go on and say that, will they?